All right, welcome to Decode and Power Up Your Future Career. My name is Yi Kiet, and I am honored to represent the CFA Society Malaysia team in bringing you today's info session. So today we will explore hiring trends, in-demand skills, and the evolving finance landscape. So this session today is designed to give you a clear understanding of today's industry needs, helping you make informed decisions for your career advancement. You will also discover how the CFA program and other CFA Institute offerings can equip you with the competitive edge to stand out and excel in your role. Okay. So before we start, allow me to share a few housekeeping notes so everyone is aligned and knows what to expect from today's session. So firstly, this session is scheduled for 90 minutes, okay, and it will be recorded and it will be shared afterwards via our YouTube channel, all right? So we encourage you to actively engage and communicate. Feel free to drop your comments and questions in the chat box at any time. Now, here's a quick look at today's agenda. So I will start with a brief introduction to CFA Institute and CFA Society Malaysia. I will share with you our mission and how we support finance professionals. Okay. Next, I will introduce our expert speakers who will share key industry insights to help you navigate your career. I will then pass the floor to them who will dive into hiring trends, essential skills, and the evolving finance landscape to help you stay competitive. So after the discussion, we'll open the floor for questions. So feel free to drop them in the chat box anytime. At the end of the session, I'll share some info on what we have to support your career growth. Okay, to set the stage, let's take a moment to get to know what CFA Institute and CFA Society Malaysia is all about. So as we are aware, CFA Institute is a global leader in investment education dedicated to upholding the highest standards of ethics and professional excellence. Since 1947, okay, it has shaped the investment profession and built a strong global network, including more than 190,000 CFA charter holders worldwide. And these charter holders are being employed by more than 25,000 firms globally. We have more than 650 affiliated universities all over the world. And the Institute is supported by more than 160 CFA societies worldwide, including CFA Society Malaysia, of course. And it also offers programs that are recognized by more than 60 regulators in 40 markets. So here in Malaysia, CFA Society Malaysia shares the same vision as CFA Institute. We operate through 4 key pillars and focus on ensuring operational excellence, developing future professionals, delivering member value, and also building market integrity. CFA Society Malaysia is part of a global network that supports investment professionals through education, networking, and career development. Locally, we are proud to represent almost 1,000 CFA charter holders whom are also our society members. There are 250 firms in Malaysia that employ these charter holders. Okay. We have more than 1,000 CFA program candidates on their way to take the CFA exam. And there are 17 affiliated universities under our UAP program, which is the University Affiliation Program. We also have 20 employer partners, including 8 premium employer partners and 15 recognized employer partners, all of whom are strong advocates for the CFA designation. Now, allow me to introduce our speakers so we can kickstart the main session right away. We are very honored to have 2 esteemed speakers with us today. First, let me introduce Scott Lee from CFA Institute, and then I will introduce Iris Lim from Hays Malaysia, a leading recruitment agency. So let's get to know Scott. So Scott has been with, Scott is the Senior Director of Strategic Partnership at CFA Institute. Scott leads the APAC North and South partnerships and client solution teams in engaging key industry stakeholders to promote the highest standards of education and professional excellence. So his work includes collaborating with financial institutions and universities, and also supports regulatory authorities in capacity building, partners with professional bodies and associations in educating the wider community, okay, and also assist employers in upskilling their workforce. So Scott has been with CFA Institute for many, many years, and he possesses deep expertise in the investment industry's needs and trends, making him the perfect speaker for today's session. Next is Iris. So Iris leads the accountancy and finance team in Hays Malaysia with special focus in commercial and industrial clients, ranging from oil and gas, energy, property, construction, and a lot more. Okay. Iris and her team work with various international and local companies, recruiting the best talents for finance and account experts in the market. So Iris brings extensive experience in the finance industry, equipping her with a keen understanding of its demands and the critical skills required to excel, making her the perfect fit for today's info session as well. Okay, I know you all didn't come here just to hear me talk, so let's get to the good part. I'm passing the floor to our speakers now. Scott and Iris, all over to you. Let me stop sharing screen first.
Thanks so much, Yika, for the kind introduction. So hello, everybody. This is Scott Lee from CFA Institute. Let me just share screen first. Okay, let me know if you don't see it. It's a great pleasure. Thank you so much for CFA Society Malaysia for the invitation to, like, as you can see in the agenda, it's quite packed. I've got like 4 research studies to share with you. Because CFA Institute is a professional body. We're not just an exam body. So what does that mean? Exam body, we obviously create the CFA program, administer the program, and we also created a lot of certificate programs. But in addition to that, a professional body, uphold the high standards of ethics and professional excellence. And then we would produce research as well, because we want to make an influence to the greater society, for the ultimate benefit of all the investors. So it's great to be here today, together with Iris, recruitment experts as well. I think we will run in a sequence like this. I will present the key findings of one report, and then I'll take a pause, welcome any questions through chat or Q&A, the chat box, and then I'll also ask Iris to share her views on this. How's that sound? Hopefully good. So first of all, Graduate Outlook Survey. Why is it 2024? Because the 2025 report isn't out yet. When it's out, probably later in the year, then I'll share more with you guys. But what is it? So take a look of the methodology. It is actually an online survey with a sample of close to 10,000 respondents who are at age between 18 to 25. They're either currently doing the bachelor degrees or master's degrees, or they are fresh graduates or recent graduates. And the key global markets, I'm not going to go through all of them, as you can see here. It's from across the globe. Okay, so we asked them, about thoughts about their career prospects amid economic volatility and the perception of financial industry social impact. Okay, I just want to, make it more engaging, because we've got, what, 30 to 40 participants today. If there is a react button, can you just, do a thumbs up or, raise your hands for those of you who fall into these age frame, like between 18 to 25. Are you Gen Z? If you're Gen Z, give me a reaction. And I'll see whether these, executive summary or key results resonate with you. So first of all, we found that the interviewees are very confident about the career prospects. In fact, 78% of graduates are confident in their future career prospects, and 72% actually rate their career prospects confidence as at least 7 out of 10. Okay, and it's good to see that it is 5 points higher than 2023. So it's good to see that the graduates are more confident than previous years. Okay, and then the second key finding is finance degrees preferred. The finance industry is still the top industry where graduates are confident in their careers prospects. And we see a slight decrease in education and healthcare. And then following finance industry, it is STEM industry. Okay, finance alongside with technology are the top college majors seen as valuable in finding a career. I'm not sure. I hope that resonates with your thinking. And the third point is graduates will continue to be concerned about low pay, as well as the lack of fulfillment and interest. So, what the survey finds out here is, in addition to being concerned about low pay, they are concerned about the lack of jobs as well, or the jobs that help them fulfill their career or make them interested in their work. And for those who are 18 to 21 years old, are slightly more likely to be concerned about feeling unfulfilled. And in addition to that, 72% of them actually look for salary in an employer alongside with work arrangements. And from that, I think after this, we'll take a look at the employer survey and you'll find these two are really resonating. Okay. And the fourth bullet point here is AI automation will make it more difficult to secure jobs, but it's still important to career success. So I think the interviewees are feeling quite a dilemma here. So they, on one hand, they understand that AI automation is necessary and that can help them do their job better. On the other hand, they are actually concerned about AI and data science automation, this kind of technology will take away their opportunities as fresh graduates. And how do we encounter this? We've got a recruitment expert, Iris, here, who will probably share some insights. And then just 4 more insights before some discussion. So in here it says, upskillings will be necessary, but postgraduate certificates will give an edge alongside with work experience. So in fact, over 80%, up to 90% of interviewees says that continuous upskilling, continuous education, acquiring additional certificates are important to the job market. So getting a bachelor degree, master's degrees, it's of course, a good entry to the door. But as you continue to upskill yourself or you get your foot in the door in a career, you know that upskilling is important. And then when thinking about time spent in their first job, graduates are sort of torn between, I want to experience different companies or sticking with one company. Yeah. And in fact, I can share some statistics here. Over 70% of graduates do not intend to stay in their first jobs longer than 4 years. Yeah. That's, well, for those of you who are dialing in as an employer, please find these statistics. I hope you find these statistics useful, insightful, because, apart from recruiting the right talents, retaining the talents are also important. Okay. The second last bullet points I want to share is the interviewees are looking to positive impact on the social and environmental side. So in fact, over 90% of the graduates surveyed consider that it is important to make a positive social and environmental contribution through their careers. So it's not just about making money, basically. It's also about creating a positive impact that benefits the community. Of course, it's the best of both, right? And then the last bullet point is social media. Social media, no doubt, is used to find information and advice on career prospects. And in fact, 44% of graduates use social media to seek out information about the career trends or any career advice, which is, of course, a huge jump. If you look at it, let's say the survey result 5 to 10 years back, where they are still looking at maybe the parents, teachers, and of course, recruitment experts for advice. And now 44% are using social media. Yeah. So hopefully these graduate survey give you some insight. If you're a Gen Z, you find whether it resonates with your thinking. If you're an employer, then please understand Gen Z in order to recruit them, train them, and to retain them. So I'll take a pause here and to ask Iris. So Iris, based on the global findings of this graduate survey, Graduate Outlook, how's it like in the Malaysian market? Do you see similar thinking or behavior, attitude among the young job seekers?
Hi, morning everyone. So my name is Iris. I'm from Hays. So Scott, basically back to your question. I do agree to a certain extent. I think in general people can't run away from money, right? And especially in Malaysia here, we see a similar trend in terms of the asking pay. So for fresh graduate, usually I think one of the main consideration for them to take up a job is always salary, right? Be it the top priority or the second priority, money would always be there. So from the job seeker, which is you guys, those who look for a job, right? From my point of view, from recruitment perspective, so yes, though money is important, but you need to know as a start your bargaining power, right? So usually fresh graduates are without any experiences. So it is so important for you to land yourself in the right opportunities, because that is what you're gonna, use as your bargaining power in future. So rather than you focus on role that could give you a higher salary pay, right? But the opportunity probably is not the one that's gonna give you in terms of upskilling, your capability. I would rather you land yourself in an opportunity that could probably pay a few hundred lower, but in terms of the opportunity wise, it can help to groom you, especially in the area, if you're speaking about this finance related areas, right? So that will actually, in long term, you will be a higher earner in comparison to those who started off high now, but in terms of the skill set, it's probably more generic, right? So from the other side, right, on the other side, in terms of the employer perspective, so most of the time, of course, I think one of the main objection would be, why would a Gen Z is asking a way higher salary, right, without any working experience as a start, right? Why don't they prove themselves first to what they can contribute to the company, rather than we start you off with a higher pay, right? So that is always both parties kind of a point of view. And Scott, yes, especially in Malaysia, I think not much of a difference compared to the global wise. So salary is always something that fresh grad would target when you first start off with which employment should I go for.
Thank you, Iris, for sharing both sides, the views of both sides. And I think I got your point. So don't be so, should I say, narrowly focused or short-sighted, right? Think about long term. First of all, think about really understand if you are, I believe most of you are in the finance and investment industry or wanting to get into finance and investment industry. Do you think about your interest, things that you would like to do? Because if you're interested in something, then you tend to do better because you won't mind spending more time and effort to learn and then to work on it, right? And then, invest in yourself, spend more time, upskill yourselves, and also to provide some track record. I think that helps. Whether you are looking for another job or you're staying in your current company, wanting to get a promotion, right? You need to have the right skills, that the job that you're interested in, and then with track record performance, then probably, hopefully, rewards will come. Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of cases where people turn down the offer just because of salary itself. But it's a really good opportunity. So fresh graduate out there, I think you all should actually aim for the right opportunity as a start, then on the whichever company that could offer the highest pay scale.
Thank you. That's important. Please bear in mind and welcome any questions, any comments, any sharings through chat box. Okay, second study, compensation study. Unlike interviewing graduates or fresh graduates or students, this survey actually focuses on interviewing CFA charter holders, i.e. those who have completed 3 levels of our exams and have accumulated enough experience to become, a member of us. Okay, if you look at that, we We interviewed, like Ike said, we have 190,000, actually beyond 200,000 now, charterholders globally. We teach a survey to them, and then we receive response from over 17,000 respondents. Okay, and in the survey, we look at salary range as well as the drivers shaping compensation. And in this sharing, I would like to focus on drivers shaping compensations. Okay, and in just take a quick look at APAC. 20% of the respondents are doing portfolio management, 40% of them are doing research, investments or quant analysis, and then 11% of them are doing consulting. Okay, key drivers, as you can see here. Since the pandemic, I mean, the market is slowly recovering or has recovered probably in some of the markets. Yet, I think fee compression pressures, it's important because of, pandemic as well as the passive investments, right? So that creates a demand on performance and the performance-based incentives. And I was just highlight VC, right? Or hedge funds. It is a growing market. Private markets is definitely a growing market when it comes to performance and performance-based incentives. And then the second trends that we see is there are increasing demand on the recruitment for regulatory experts, AI data scientists, and private market experts. So we'll definitely cover more later in our discussion. And then talent competition. There is still an intense competition, especially in the areas of tech firms, hedge funds, private equity firms. They are all hunting for talent. In fact, before this webinar, this morning, I got on a call with a C-suite of a VC company, and they are hunting for IRs because fundraising is important. Promoting the GP's image, reputation to attract LPs are important. So yeah, there are plenty of opportunities out there in the private market space. Yet international expertise are still sought after due to globalization of investments. I think Malaysia do share the same because the LPs, the asset owners in Malaysia, they obviously don't only invest in Malaysian markets and Malaysian companies. They look for opportunities maybe across the entire ASEAN market or global markets. And then when it comes to employers, firms actually offer increased work flexibility as a benefit, as a part of the package, as compensation to attract talents. As you probably can imagine, during COVID era, most of us actually work from home. But as COVID's gone, it's no longer that case. And employees are increasingly being asked to come back and work, in the office 5 days, 6 days a week. Yet offering work flexibility is seen as a benefit to attract and to retain those talents. Yeah. And the second bullet point here says geographical pay is actually being considered as the package as well. So just an example, within the same company, in the same work location in the UK, for example, coming back to work 5 days a week will receive a different compensation package to those who are working 5 days remotely. Even both of them are being hired from the same company in UK. Why? Because they've calculated the factors of the cost of living and the work flexibility mode. And on the diagram on the right-hand side, you can quickly see the percentage of people working full-time in the office versus hybrid working. In APAC, I would say we definitely have a much higher percentage of employees who are getting back to work full-time in the office. Whereas in America, in EMEA, because the countries are so big, right? So a lot of people actually need to travel 3 hours to work or 2.5 hours to work. So they would negotiate with the firms to say, oh, can I just maintain a work flexibility and return probably some adjustments in the compensation packages. Okay, of course, the compensation study covers a lot more, but because we have a lot that we want to discuss, and more importantly, we want to have an engaging or interactive dialogue with you. So for those of you, if you want to understand more about the survey's results, they are all on our website. Just go and download it and take a look. But I'll pause here once again to get Iris back up and to get you to share, let's say, based on the compensation study, do you acknowledge the discussed drivers that would affect the compensation packages in Malaysia?
Yeah. So Scott, I think from the graph that you showed about the remote working, right, or hybrid, so for Malaysia in particular, so yes, majority of companies now are trying to shift, from hybrid back to the full-time in office, largely because of the efficiency. That's one thing that is being highlighted by most of the companies out there. They find it to be more interactive. The engagement within the team itself is there, much more stronger in comparison with you working from home. So that's one thing. But in comparison, we also have like MNC's client that still practice hybrid working environment. Largely also because of the need for them to be based in the office. It's not really there most of the time because they are working on regional portfolio. When you're servicing those regional clients, right? So most of the time you're using the internet, as a base. So there's a mix of both working mood, I would say, in Malaysia in particular. And that 4% remote entirely rarely we come across employment that give such flexibilities in Malaysia so far from what I can see. So all in all, I think as a total package, right, salary package. So like what Scott said, if that role requires you to be based in overseas, for example. So yes, it will be adjusted based on the cost of living there. But nowadays we look more towards total package rather than just the basic salary itself, right? So things like working from home, that would be one of the benefits. In fact, that's actually one of the most frequently asked questions from the candidate side. Is this opportunity gonna provide me, hybrid working environment? That would be my top priority. Salary comes after. So we can see a change in terms of the trend nowadays, looking into the compensation that would satisfy the employee side. So likewise, in terms of the employee side, so if they see that there's no need for you to come to office, and you can handle your work remotely, so they are finding that partly because of they can actually save in terms of the rental wise. They don't have to rent such a big office, to cater to all the staff. So likewise, I think it's more towards the need of both sides, right? And also the job itself, whether or not it requires you to be based in the office, or not. So in summary, I think as a total package nowadays, we just don't see solely on the basic salary itself because it comprises way more than that. Yeah.
Thanks, Iris. What about, well, let's, aside from working flexibility and the salary,
Yeah.
let's talk about the demand around the employers. How does AI come into play in when employers are hiring for talents here?
Yeah. So AI has always been there, right? And the world is now run by AI as well. And I think one of the concern most of the candidates would have is that would my role one day being taken away from AI? But I think one thing that you all should understand is that yes, AI is there, but do you know how to use it? That's nothing, right? As good as that AI can be, but if the user is not well equipped, then there's no difference in terms of the efficiency that could bring forward to the processes of the operation. So nowadays we can see an increased trend in terms of the requirements from the employer side. So say for example, if you see the first job posting on your left, right, it's a senior financial planning analyst role. So the requirements for candidates to have specialized tools, for example, like this Power BI or Tableau, is a increasing, growing needs from the employer end. However, in terms of expert who can really use this, when it comes to the finance talent, we find it to be quite scarce at this point of time. And if you have that kind of a skill set with you, that would be your bargaining power in terms of asking for a higher pay. So you can see also another example, right? Senior finance system analyst. So you can see why such role exists because of the need for an expert to use the system, right? Or to be someone to guide the team to use the system, or to be probably someone to enhance the existing system to a better system, right? So though system is there, I think the worries that whether or not you take on your current role, that should be probably, you should focus less in terms of that kind of worry, but more towards upskilling yourself. In terms of getting you yourself to know how to use the system, I think that would be actually an advantage on top of the existing AI out there. So the third one you can see is the data scientists on your right. That would be they require people with Python, kind of a usage. So all in all, we can't run away from AI. But what we can do is that we can, go hand in hand with AI by having ourselves upskilling to that level and to be an expert in terms of using this AI, because that will actually help to enhance your workflow and subsequently, enable you to do something at a more macro level than just on an operational base. Yeah.
Right, thank you, Iris. And I pick up a point that I cannot agree more. So all these systems, I would say, even within CFA Institute, we are a professional body, we are not-for-profit organization, not an investment firm, right? Still, our IT treats us so well that, all these Power BI, Tableau, and all that, the software is there. We have subscribed to most of these IT systems.
Yeah.
But how do we use it? I mean, first of all, we need to understand the power of this. What is this all about? How can this tool help me in doing my job better? We need to understand first, and then we need to pick up that skills and to integrate that into our day-to-day job in order to increase the efficiency and the effectiveness. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So, well, I hope all of you are looking into upskilling yourselves in the areas of AI. And hopefully you've gained some insights about, what the Gen Z thinks, what the employers think, what our members think, and the upcoming trends, and where, which industry is booming in the space of finance and investments. So technology, regulatory experts, as well as the private market side, right? So CFA Institute, in fact, as you know, we manage the CFA program, and with decades of history. And CFA program has always been seen as the gold standard in investment education. This is because we spend tremendous amount of time and resources understanding and then analyzing the needs of a finance and investment professional. And then we inject new skills and trainings surrounding it. And in here, I would just like to take a moment to touch on some of the major changes we announced last year. Some of you who've been to our Global Career Week or previous webinars, seminars, you probably know about these major changes. So I'll just quickly highlight here. So we've expanded the program eligibility rules to allow university students to equip practical knowledge earlier. And secondly, is practical skills modules. These are highly practical knowledge needed by a practitioner, which I'll cover in the next slide. And then we introduce specialized pathways for level 3 exams. And then we have focused curriculum with pre-reading, and we add on extra practice questions for candidates and digital batch. In here, I will just touch on 2 of the major changes in the essence of time: practical skills modules and specialized pathways. So first of all, since I think last year, we introduced practical skills modules training in addition to exams. So for example, if you are a CFA candidate, you will know, in addition to doing the exam, passing the exam, you will be required to get online to do practical skills modules and to complete relevant trainings in order to receive the exam results. So these are examples of the practical skills modules that we offer to candidates. Analyst skills, financial modeling skills, Python data science skills, programming skills. There are, in each module, in each course, there are videos, there are multiple choice questions for you to take. And whether you pass it or not, you must learn and complete these trainings in order to receive your exam results. Okay, so the reason behind is, as you can see from the survey results, we are seeing a lot of changes in the investment industry, and to be seen as the most practical education, investment education, CFA program needs to involve these sort of practical trainings in order to bring our candidates, get our candidates ready for jobs. So this is a must-do exercise before getting your exam results. And in the previous surveys and sharings, we talked about the booming in the PE, VC side, private market space. So as a result, starting from this year, in our level 3 exams, we introduced specialized pathways. What's that? So in the past, every candidate in level 3 exams do the same exam. But starting from this year, 70%, around 70% of the curriculum would be still the same. But for the rest 30% of the curriculum, we actually ask candidates to pick the choice, whether they want to pursue the portfolio management pathway or the private markets pathway or the private wealth pathways. And these comprises another 30% of our curriculum. The end title destination will still be the same. It is CFA. But based on that, based on students' interest, candidates' interest, they can actually select the specialization pathway that they can choose. And hopefully, they are already doing private markets or private wealth, then they'll pick the, corresponding pathways. Or if they want to step into relevant jobs, then they take, different pathways accordingly. Yeah. And while CFA program is a gold standard in investment qualification, it is not for everybody in every position in the investment industry. And that is why, in addition to introducing the specialized pathways, we also created a lot of certificates, programs, and courses, which are also constantly updated in order to stay current. And what's great about this is that they aren't just for charter holders, but in fact, for everyone in the investment world, and who can take them and boost their knowledge and their skills and their career. Okay, so for example, we have ESG investing certificate programs, we have climate risk valuation and investing certificates, and we also have private markets, private equity certificates. And for those, let's say, who are in the back end of investment firms or finance firms, they can take the investment foundation certificate to equip themselves with the fundamental knowledge and understanding about the capital markets. And underpinning CFA program and all these certificate programs, there are codes and standards and a repository of a lot of best practices and our research, as you can see at the bottom of this diagram here. And in fact, we estimate that 90% of the world's largest asset managers, they have already signed up to one code or the other of these codes that I mentioned at the bottom of the screen. And this whole entire suite of offering makes CFA Institute truly a global professional body. We're not just an exam body, but we also produce a lot of other trainings, other research, other codes and standards to help shape the industry, to help to make the industry a better place. This is just one of the examples of the suite of offerings in the sustainable finance or sustainability field. Starting from the left, we have climate finance, and which is a short online course for you to get to know all about the terminology, principles about climate and about carbon, for example. And it is co-developed with ACCA. The one in the middle gives you very solid understanding about the ESG factors and how fund managers are integrating ESG investments into their analysis or investment decision making. On the right, it is a new certificate, Climate Risk Valuation and Investing Certificate, which covers climate mitigation, adaptation, climate consideration in fixed income and equity investments. And as you can see, in terms of the price, there's regular price and member price. Because EKID, I think in your introduction, EKID touched on premium partner and recognized employers. I think there are 23 firms. And in fact, globally, we've introduced a new scheme to work with these employers to produce discounted trainings, discounted offerings to their employees, and in taking on some of these certificate programs. I can go into detail, later in the Q&A, but in a nutshell, this is what we're offering in addition to the CFA program. Okay, I'll stop here because I would like to ask Iris. I representing CFA to, of course, claim that we create these certificates because we understand the employee's demand. We analyzed, the industry trends. But Iris, what do you think? Do some of these training, sustainability, private markets resonate with employees' needs?
Definitely, Scott. I think especially it's a rising trend, right? From the past 2 years. And the hiring request coming from the employer side, we need people with ESG expert, right? We need people who are good in terms of sustainability, and we need a certified professional in terms of that. So it's not just merely saying that you have that kind of experience, right? But on top of that, what employer is looking is a properly qualified, a finance person, be it in the area of sustainability or ESG. So nowadays, I think especially the ESG, right? A lot of clients should come to us and say we need an expert in that area. Okay, but the issue here is that we don't really have a lot of candidates out there who are well equipped in terms of ESG and sustainability. And what more on top of that, people who are fully qualified in these areas. So I think, Scott, back to that, that's why this kind of courses would actually help in terms of building up further their ready credentials. That would actually put them in an advantage in comparison with other candidates who merely just have probably few years of experience doing finance in that kind of areas of ESG or sustainability. But definitely, yes, it's a trend nowadays that we see. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of qualified talent at the moment in this area. So if you are someone who's passionate about sustainability or ESG, so while you acquire your skill set in terms of this kind of areas, you should also hand enroll in one of these courses that will actually help you to be a qualified candidates out there, because you can see a difference in terms of people who are being having this kind of certification and people who don't have this kind of certification in terms of their opportunities and also in terms of the pay scale. We would see a difference. There will definitely be a gap there. Yeah.
Thanks, Iris.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to hear from your insights, and I think it's a shortage of talents in the space of sustainability and, of course, AI, machine learning, data science. We see it globally. Every firm is trying to recruit the talents, trying to define, how do you call them experts, right? Training is one, track record performance is another. But it's great to see that in addition to students' needs, employees' needs, governments also see that. And in fact, we're grateful, CFA Institute is very grateful that, let's say our sustainability training is being recognized and in some markets being subsidized by the governments. In Malaysia, I think you have to see HRDF, the funding and the support. And hopefully we'll get to see a lot of our programs being accepted into this pool, and such that employers can make use of this HRDF to upskill your employees accordingly. Yeah. And it's great that we are receiving questions, quite lengthy, and I will probably just take one and leave the rest to Q&A, of course. So John, thanks for your question. And I want to thank you for highlighting the Standards of Practice Handbook, right? Whatever on our website, I think it's the latest version, because we do constantly update, and once we updated that, we'll post it onto our website. And let's say Gibbs, we are currently revamping it, actually. So good question. And then the Synergy program, I think we'll leave it to Yiket in a Q&A session. But how often do we update our CBOK? Well, it's great that you know this term, right? Candidate body of knowledge. How often does it get updated? I would say it constantly or annually gets reviewed and analyzed, and depending on the industry, how the industry evolves and the employees' needs, whether it's changed, right? If it's changed significantly, then we're updated accordingly. But of course, sometimes, we don't see a lot of changes within 12 months. then we will just do very minimal update or do no updates at all. But I can say that we constantly conduct market research and analysis and employers interviews to, to keep ourselves abreast of the industry's needs and whatnot. Yeah, hopefully that answers your questions. So there are two more research to go through, more technical ones. I'm aware of the time, so probably I'll just touch on the key findings of this research. And trust me, these research are publicly available on our website. And if you're yet to aware, it is published by what we call the Research and Policy Center of CFA Institute. The website address is rpc.cfainstitute.org. And in there, you can find tens or hundreds of research reports and articles that can, enrich your skills and knowledge. So I would encourage all of you to visit our website from time to time to look up for the latest findings. Okay, so talk about research. In here, I'm going to share with you two research reports findings. One is the adoption of AI and big data technologies in investment management. So it's a relatively new research report that we published in January, and it touches on how investment professionals use AI and big data tools to identify the associated risks, challenges, and opportunities. Yeah. So in the following sessions, I'm going to just incorporate the overall insights which we gathered from roundtable sessions, from desktop research, and then from surveys as well. So in these roundtables, we actually interviewed C-suite executives, learning and development specialists, and industry practitioners, and regulators. So basically cover the entire ecosystem within the finance and investment industry roles. So the key takeaways, first of all, adoption trends. We of course see a gradual increase in the adoption of AI and big data technologies across various job functions within the investment management industry. We see the emphasized use in advisory, analytical, investment, and decision-making and whatnot functions, right? And some key findings. First of all, I think multi-homing. So in the past, I think Excel is kind of the holy Bible, the go-to tool that we use, right? But now we see that investment professionals often juggle multiple technologies for similar tasks. So for instance, in data visualization, we see Python, we see Tableau, we see SQL, Power BI, as Iris mentioned in the job description. So there's really not really one single tool strategy anymore, but a multiple tool strategies. Okay. And the second point is practical applications. So AI tools help optimize tasks by automating repetitive processes. And then they help analyze complex data sets. And then they help enhance investment strategies. And in there, Python is actually the favorite tool for analyzing the data across various roles, with notable usage in analytical, investment and decision-making and leadership. Okay. So, and Gen AI, ChatGPT is actually being indicated as the most widely or relevantly used tool, and is used by at least 75% of the respondents across all age groups and all regions. Okay, and while AI is so popular, so hot, it seems that everybody's using it. What are the key challenges? The key challenges for AI adoption include the complexity of AI models. So the explainability issue, we call it. So I mean, we can easily throw jargons and say, hey, are you using Gen AI? Are you using ChatGPT? How? Do you really understand how? How do you, everybody talks about training the AI. How? How do you train it? How do you make it useful and relevant to your job and the organization's roles? Okay, I will just quickly highlight or screenshot three diagrams that it's captured from the study. So, for example, technology is a very broad term. What programs do people use in function that they perform? And the first diagram on the top right-hand corner actually gives us a bit of insight. So, for example, we compare the feedback and the results of the survey, and we find that, building financial models, in building financial models, people used Python, 26%, and then they use Gen AI, they use SQL, okay? But for data visualization, the percentage is even more, and for data analysis is even more. What's being used less as down the bottom? Valuation, okay? So this sort of hopefully give you an insight or the understanding about the different there are different technologies out there, and people actually deploy different technologies, different applications, depending on what tasks they're performing. Yeah, so that's on the top right-hand corner. And going to the top right-hand corner, sorry, is the organizational risk and governance issues. And in there, we asked the employers or the interviewees, what are the top risks that you face with the growth of the AI? So it's the protection of data privacy. It is the reliance on the third-party vendors. And also, again, I talked about it, the explainability of the AI models. Even if you have the best tools in the world and the results, how do we interpret it, right? And that resonates with the at the diagram down the bottom. We need, and what Iris said, right, correctly. So we need experts. Even though we have the best tools in the world, we still need a lot of talents, AI talents, big data talents, in order to, dissect the issue, explain the issues to us, and of course, to truly, fully integrate these tools into our daily operations to help us do our job better as management or as investment managers or as analysts. Yeah. And then the second challenge I would say is data quality and governance. So AI can easily generate a lot of data points. So what is useful? What is being considered the noise, right? How do we, again, filter this into providing a quality decision making? And how do we govern them, right? And then legal development, regulatory environment, I think that's important. So these are all the top challenges. I think, I'm not saying that you will need to equip yourselves in every single aspects within this and solve every single challenge. But again, going back to earlier sharing, and what is your interest? Finance is so big. There are many different roles. What roles are you trying to step into? And then to help you stay ahead of the game, take a look at these surveys results, talk to experts, talk to practitioners to understand what are the opportunities, what are the pain points in the role within the industry that you want to step in, and then try to equip relevant skills. Yeah. So I'll just show you a quick screenshot. It's actually a heat map that we produce on the website. It's free. It's freely available. So go there and check it out. So if you want to be in advisory role, for example, what platforms are we using? Excel, market database, other visualization tools, Gen AI. And then what tasks are you performing? So you can kind of cross-match. So in which job category, under which job function that you're performing, which platforms are kind of top ask or sought after. Yeah. So again, hopefully this heat map, this kind of research will give you really, really great insight about the AI trends and the skills that you need to equip with. And I know that there's a fourth. I'm quite greedy, right? Before this meeting, I want to kind of share as much as I can. But in the essence of time, I'll just quickly go through the employer survey, responsible and ethical use of AI. So in this survey, we surveyed close to 200 employees globally, seeking their opinions concerning responsible and ethical use of AI. Because going back to the previous survey results, as you can see, there is a concern about data privacy. There is a concern about, oh, I'm asking the third party to help me using this AI tool. Would I get to leak my, company confidential information? And then there are lots of, regulations, risk involved. So these are the concerns. So in this survey, we kind of questioned employers, how are you going to use AI responsibly? And then I can just share quick results. 85% of employers see a need for industry-wide standards and ethical guidelines for using AI and Gen AI. So they want consistency as well. Just let me know such that I can ask all the employees within the organization or even vendors to adopt these guidelines in order to use AI, responsibly, ethically. And again, it comes to everyone comes down to upskilling. 70% say that they have a preferred or essential need for workforce training and upskilling in the regulatory compliance space. And then it's work attitude. I think people this resonate a lot with the graduate survey. People understand that AI is important, but at the same time, they're scared, right? And hopefully with more, capacity building, upskilling, consistency, guidelines, that should hopefully, kind of ease their concerns or worry. And once again, what this diagram wants to show is Gen AI is very powerful, but what particular skills do employees need in order to use it much effectively? And then last but not the least, the world isn't on the right-hand side. The world isn't just about AI or Gen AI. There are many other core skills or trending skills that people will need to equip themselves with. So trending skills such as ESG, as you can see here, right? And then the core skills, for example, soft skills, ethics skills, data analysis, these exist for a long, long time already. People, and they are still essential. They are still sought after by the employers. So please take a look at all the research reports and understand the skills that you need to upskill and select relevant training. It might be attending a webinar, attending a seminar, go to a conference, or taking structural qualification and training. Yeah. So that's it about the two very kind of rich and heavy report. But AI, it's very important, and I do encourage everyone to take a look at it, at least to understand the current needs. Iris, any insights that you can share with us or with the audience here?
Yeah, I think so, Scott. I think in summary, right, we are speaking about AI, and I think the questions posted by Chong Chien Shen. So why AI can't completely take over our job, right? Most of the AI out there, they help to generate data. To some extent, yes, they can analyze the data for us. However, what we're gonna do with the data, right? How are we gonna use the data in a way that is beneficial to your team, or ultimately how it helps to improve the profit of your organization, right? So that's something that AI can't really do at this point of time. That is why, though AI exists, why is there a need also for finance talent, like finance analysts, for example, is there. So AI is there, however, it's not entirely could overtake what human could do at this point of time. So all in all, you should focus on utilizing or making advantage of the existing AI. On top of that, you should then build yourself in terms of business acumen side, because a lot of our employer ask for people with strong business acumen. And if that's something that they could get from the AI, why is there a need for them to put this as one of the requirements when it comes to them identifying the right candidates? So having strong business acumen and a good AI that produce or generate data, that would actually help to bridge, data and your skill set, and ultimately then it helps to contribute to your organization further. So Chong, if without AI, you're probably going to spend a lot of time in terms of generating data, which you can actually use the time in a way to analyze it, and how would that be beneficial to your team or to your company or organization as a whole. So that is the use of AI, right? So the fear of having AI to take over your role shouldn't be there, but it's more towards of how you can see this as benefit to yourself and to work alongside AI and upgrade yourself on par with the AI. Because like literally for the world nowadays, right, everyone is moving towards that. So you can't run away from that. But what you can do is that to see the benefit in it and to then upskill yourself to that level. So I think for now with CFA, institution here and the courses that they actually provide, that is, I think, pretty much beneficial to look into that. So Scott, I hope in summary.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think that's very insightful.
Yeah.
And then, well, with time it's running so fast. We passed the 1 hour mark. I know we have about 30 minutes left, ECAT. So is it time for Q&A, or do you have something to share?
Yes, actually, I do have a few more slides to share, but I have received two questions on that was addressed in the chat. One of it is from Kayan. I believe Kayan is now working in Japan, and Kayan would like to know actually how useful is CFA in Malaysia? Do most employers recognize it? I am currently working in Japan, and working experience is more important than a CFA charter. So on my side, based on my personal experience, is yes, most employers would recognize this together with work experience, since we have many members that are in the finance and investment industry here. But I would also like to channel this question to Iris. Based on your expertise, would you like to help address Kayan's queries?
Yeah. So Kayan, CFA definitely yes. Is also known as one of the most difficult exams out there, in comparison with others, like ACC or CPA. So Kayan, back to what you are doing at the moment. So if your role involve corporate finance, corporate exercises, right? You evaluating or looking into the merger acquisition, potential investment, market research. And if that's the field that you want to move yourself, or you foresee yourself to be doing that in future, then yes, CFA would be, of course, an added advantage. Because to be honest, we don't have a lot of qualified, right, or put in this way, CFA candidate out there. So with you having that would help to equip or enhance your credibility as a corporate finance person, or an investment person per se. So definitely, if your goal is to build your career in this area, then yes, you should go for CFA.
Allow me to come in here, Yiket. I think it's not about I have a CFA. This employer values CFA more, so work experience is not important, or this employer values work experience more, so CFA is not important. I think employers are greedy as well. They want the best of both. If they have the money, they want to hire the right candidate. If a candidate has gone through CFA, this rigorous training, and proven that he or she is knowledgeable, and he or she has proven track record on work experience, well, why not? So it's just like a PhD. I don't think an employer would highlight someone who's just been studying all along for the past, let's say, 28 years, bachelor's, master's, PhD, but without work experience. Still, it's not that. Yeah, so I think it would be a best of both. But CFA, of course, can be acquired as you're working. Yeah, because it's a self-study, open exam, so you can just accumulate your experience while you're preparing for the exam.
Yeah, I think to some employer out there, it just shows your persistent level in you, the effort that you put in, the time, right? While you work, to also focus on getting yourself upgraded in a way, getting this kind of certification. So that just shows another aspect from the employer's perspective of people having professional certification in comparison with people who don't have that. So like Scott said, yes, experience is important, but having this kind of qualification that further enhance your chances out there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Iris and Scott, for addressing Kayan's question. I also have another question here. It may be relevant to some of our participants today. So this is from Su Jin Hong. I think, should I call you Su Jin? Okay. So Su Jin is a year 1 undergraduate student in a 4-year accounting program, okay, with expected graduation in August 2028. So Su Jin mentioned here that UPM is a non-affiliate CFA institution. I think you mean a non-affiliated university with the CFA Institute. So Su Jin is expecting graduation in August 2028. Am I eligible to register for CFA Level 1 exam in the August session after my 2nd year? Okay, I think I'll be able to answer this. The answer is yes. So it doesn't matter whether the university or institutional that you are attached to is under the university affiliation program or not. Regardless, you are eligible because yes, you are eligible. Second question is, would it be better to register for CFA level 1 after my second year, or should I wait later until degree? Okay, so it actually depends on your readiness. If you are ready with the sufficient time and resources, we don't see why not. Third question is, would CFA level 1 help in securing internships or job opportunities before graduation? I think a lot of our, not just today's participant, but this is like a common question that has been channeled to the society frequently. They do want to know if, let's say, they are not, they have not earned the CFA charter yet, that means have not passed all 3 levels, how would passing level 1 and level 2 actually help? Would that be something that is also being considered by employers out there? Can I channel this question to Iris and Scott? Any idea how it would help actually?
Yeah, maybe I'll take that first. First of all, very good question. About the UAP affiliation, you're absolutely spot on. So affiliation means that the university is incorporating at least like 70% of our curriculum into the degree programs, such that they are kind of getting their students more ready to take our exams, right? So but it doesn't really matter against the eligibility. Going back to whether to take it in the second year or later, I think this is actually why we expanded the eligibility to allow students to start taking or registering for the exam. I think it's 23 months before graduating. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And the reason is that we hear a lot of feedback from students saying that, hey, it's not easy to find an internship. So instead of finding internship, why don't I spend the time to start taking level 1, such that I can add that into my CV, A, to show my competencies, and secondly, like Iris said, to prove to the employees that it's my persistence, right? It's my attitude that I'm willing to take on the challenge, to take on a really rigorous kind of exams. So I think it will help. And we also, of course, get the same feedback from the employers as well. So that is why we expand the eligibility. Yeah. So I do encourage people, if schedule allows, if priorities are okay with you, start taking it early in your uni life. Because as you know, once you start working, or you will know, once you start working, then it's not easy to find time to study. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that point, Scott. So back to the questions, right? If we were to present both CVs, right, to the employer side, so one with ongoing CFA courses, one without, and both are fresh grad. Of course, employer go with the one that is ongoing, pursuing CFA. Most of the time, 90% of the time, they'll go for that. So all in all, to fresh grad out there, right? So it is so hard for employee to access your experiences because you have 0, right, as a start. But what are the other things that they can access? Qualification is one thing. In terms of the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself during the interview, that is so important. How well spoken are you? So by you enrolling yourself into this kind of courses, right, somehow it will help to also nurture, I think, in terms of the way you think. Because a lot of times from the questions that you ask in your interview session, they will look into the way you ask a question, what kind of questions that you prompt to the company itself. Are your questions are more focusing on the benefits, as in like compensation solely, or is more towards the job that you're gonna do? So that would then reflect in terms of what kind of person you are, right? And where your interest lies. Are you looking more towards the benefit for yourself, or are you looking more towards what you can contribute to the company as a start? So the way you ask questions, that actually helps employer to judge further, especially when it comes to fresh graduate, because to be honest, they can't really gauge in terms of experience, right? Because you have 0 experience in that. So having CFA as a start or in progress usually that favors a lot of employers out there in comparison to people who have graduated from merely just degree. So it is good to start. And like as Scott said, once you start working, especially if you're a fresh grad, you have zero experience, you have to fork out more time in terms of understanding the work or catching up. So if you have already achieved certain level of CFA by then, that would help you to get your membership way faster compared to others who just want to start maybe, you know, after a few years of working. So yes, so you should start as early as possible if you can manage that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So is there any other question? If there are no other question, I would like to check with Scott and Iris. Is there any last parting sharing that you want to say before I take on the next agenda?
I think maybe I'll go first. I've been saying it, you know, for the past hour. So understand your interest, because if you're interested in something, you tend to do better, and you tend to spend way more time on this without feeling the way, you know, the feeling of sacrificing, right? And then before, you know, taking on the learning journey, try to take a sneak peek into the industry and say, oh, okay, well, I'm interested in this role. So what is needed? What is popular? What are employers demand? And then you can naturally figure out what you need to upskill on.
Yeah. Yeah. So knowing what you want, if you don't know as a start, ask your senior who have been in the working environment or working space, or ask experts out there, reach out to recruitment consultant if you want to know further. Because finance is huge, right? The area is huge. But where your focus is, or where, you know, probably your passion lies more too. I think that's something that you can get by speaking to people outside there. Before then you agree to start on the particular courses. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now just hang on, I'm gonna share screen again. All right. All okay? Right. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for all your time and engagement today. Especially thank you to Scott and Iris for sharing their time and all the insights. So we appreciate everyone's participation and we look forward to staying connected. So before I end today's session, I'd like to take this opportunity to walk you through quickly on our upcoming events and programs. So at the local level, CFA Society Malaysia, we have an exciting lineup of upcoming events that you wouldn't want to miss. First up is our Career Day for 2025, also fondly known as Pathfinder Summit. It is going to happen on the 23rd of August, 2025. So we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. So this year, Career Day will be our biggest one yet. So unlike typical career fair that most of us are familiar with, our Career Day is the ultimate networking event. We connect aspiring finance professionals with top employers, and we also offer exclusive career insights. So remember to mark your calendar and stay tuned for more details on our social media. And then we also have a study topics for CFA program candidates. So as part of our ongoing commitment to supporting CFA candidates, we are also offering focus study sessions to help candidates prepare efficiently and cost effectively. So registration is now open for our study sessions that are created especially for the May 2025 exam window. And we aim to continue providing similar support to candidates who are sitting for future exam windows too. Now, I think John earlier, John, you posted a question asking about Synergy program. Congratulations for being so updated. Okay, so Synergy program is a brand new initiative. Okay, it is hot from the oven. It is now up and running. It is called the Synergy program, and this is designed for CFA Level 1 candidates sitting for the August 2025 exam. So this is something that the society has churned out. It is a very structured program that provides expert coaching and personalized guidance by our board of directors. So it is very exclusive, and we only have 15 spots available, so seats are filling up fast. So if you want more information, this QR code here is actually the QR code that will lead you to the program handbook where you can get more specific information. Okay, but if you want to understand more, feel free to call us up or email us, and we'll be able to assist. All right. Next one is what we call the PTS, okay, the Professional Training Series. This is the first in the series is this training session on AI-driven investing. It is now up for registration. This is a joint effort between CFA Society Malaysia and AB Maximus. Okay, this is a very hands-on session, and it is scheduled to be on 8th of May 2025. It will dive into how AI is transforming investment research. We have all heard from Scott and Iris earlier how important AI is. So this may come into interest for you. So do note that this session is HRDC claimable, and participants are eligible for 10 CPE points. So reach out to your HR representatives, or you can also contact us at the society to find out more about how you can enroll. Okay, if you'd like more details on any of the offerings or programs that we have shared earlier, do follow us on social media. Throughout, we are called the CFA. Our handler is CFA Society Malaysia. So we update our social media regularly, so you can be sure that you won't miss out anything. And that brings us to the end of our session. Thank you all for joining us today. A special thank you to our speakers, Scott and Iris, for sharing their expertise. So for any follow-up inquiries, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.